So today we are talking with Elias of Customs for the Kid. He is a 14-year-old Star Wars artist who makes Star Wars custom action figures. He co-hosts the YouTube tutorial show Customizing the Clone Wars with Star Wars custom action figure artists Peak Obi-Wan Custom Creations and Darth Daddy. He is also the author of the Star Wars Customs for the Kid blog, where he has been archiving the work of Star Wars artists from all over the world for 8 years now, as well as being the youngest Star Wars artist to be featured at Star Wars Celebration Anaheim's Star Wars Custom Action Figure panel. His artwork has graced the home pages of many of the prominent Star Wars websites and is well known for his prolific work.
Hearing that intro, I'm thinking you are like a young Anakin Skywalker. Hey, chosen one, put me on the Jedi Custom Action Figure Council.
I don't know. I wouldn't really refer to myself as Anakin Skywalker. He was born with his abilities, but I've worked every week at customizing to get where I am for the past 8 years.
So you You've been half of Customs for the Kid from the beginning. Does it ever bother you that most people think of Darth Daddy when asked to do all the interviews on different Star Wars podcasts? How does it make you feel to be the silent half?
Of course everyone wants to be noticed for their artwork, but I think he's been the face of the blog because I was too young to use social media, so he was the one who did it, and I hope that as I get older that I'll be more noticed for my work and that I can be more active.
What got you into customizing Star Wars action figures?
Well, what got me into customizing action figures was when we got 3 custom action figures in the mail from the custom action figure artist Jack of Trades. And I saw his blog and I saw the figures and I loved them so much and I thought it was so cool. So I was like, Dad, I want to do this. And like 6-year-old me obviously didn't know where it would take me, but I really enjoyed it and I'm really glad I got those 3 figures and that I saw that blog because it really inspired me when I was that 6-year-old kid.
Do you remember the first time you held a Star Wars custom action figure in your hand? What do you remember about it?
Yes, I do. I think I was 6 years old and we got a Jedi custom action figure Wookiee. And at first I noticed that it didn't look like a normal toy because I saw the Chewbacca head, but it was also like painted in a different way. And I asked my dad, I was like, where'd you get this? And he said that someone made it from hand, and I was like, wow, this is really cool. I want to do this. And it was really an inspiring moment to see like someone else's work, and it really just felt so tangible to me, and that's what made me just like want to do it.
What is it that you like about Star Wars custom action figures?
I would say I just love it because it feels like you can just do whatever you want. You can make any character that Hasbro never cared to do. You could make any character that doesn't even exist just to fill your shelves. You could make a diorama, enhance your shelf space, make things look better. You can really just do whatever you want, and I love that. I love that I can change my collection in any way I want.
How did you learn to make customs?
I would say that over the years I've learned incrementally. Everything I know now, I did not know then. Back then, I knew how to... I didn't know anything. I didn't know how to paint. I didn't know how to sculpt. I didn't know how to use the power tools. And now I know how... Like, I at least have a basic idea, if not a pretty good idea, of how to use all those things. And I've gotten there because of internet research that I've done. I've looked at the forums and taken advice from our fellow custom action figure artists. I've learned a lot from my dad. He's taught me a lot too. So overall, I think the customizing community has been a big resource for my skill set.
Is customizing more your thing than your dad's?
I guess I would say it is more my thing than his because it was my idea to begin with. He didn't come up with this. He's been really cool about facilitating it, and I think that over the years he's really grown to love it and enjoy it with me, and I'm really grateful that he let me do this and that he's provided such a great environment for it. But I really did kind of kick things off at the beginning, and if I hadn't really gotten into customizing, he wouldn't be where he is as a customizer either.
So you started customizing Star Wars action figures when you were just 6 years old. How does it feel to be able to add to your collection in your own personal way, piece by piece?
I would say I feel like a 3 3/4 inch god because I can just create at my own bidding, and it's awesome. I love it. It's great that I can just make any figure I want. It could be a figure that Hasbro didn't make, a character that I came up with. It could be anything, and I really like that.
How do you make your action figures?
I would say it really depends on the needs of the project. If it's a more simple project, you're only going to be maybe repainting an old figure. And maybe if it's going to be more advanced and you're going to need something that has like parts that look different, you might want to take apart four figures. You might want the legs from this figure, the head of this one, and the forearms of this figure. So you just boil them, and it makes it easier for them to pop apart. You pop them back together into the figure you want, into all the pieces put together, and then you could paint over that. And sometimes you don't have the parts, so you have to fabricate them. And you can do that by either sanding down using power tools like the Dremel, or you could sculpt using Aves, Fix-It, Green Stuff, or Knead-A-Tight, or Procreate.
You have been customizing for 8 years now. What is different about your process now compared to when you first started?
When I first started, my dad would only let me repaint 5 POA figures, and I wasn't allowed to do any super articulated figures until I was good at painting the 5 POA ones, and that took a while. So I finally got to repainting the super articulated figures, and then after that I learned more advanced painting skills, sculpting, and so forth.
What do you feel like you've gotten out of the customizing experience?
Overall, I think I've gotten out of the experience a lot of great friends that I'm really happy to work with, and I've gotten a skill set that I'm proud of. I've gotten action figures of some of my favorite characters. It's been a great experience. I love it.
What has been some of your favorite projects that you have completed?
Overall, I think I would say that my favorite projects are Vice Admiral Emmeline Haldo, my Rio Chuchi, my Zygerian Slave Ahsoka, and Hound.
So how does it feel when some of your greatest influences start referring to you as becoming a master?
It's very flattering when people that I respect so much start referring to me in that way, but I don't really feel comfortable calling myself a master because I feel that I have a lot more to learn.
What do you feel you still need to learn, or skills you want in your toolbox before calling yourself a master?
I would say that before I call myself a master, that I need to learn engineering with the power tool, because some of the things we use to grind down the PVC joints are very sharp, and we don't want to trip to the emergency room. They require parent supervision. So a lot of that meant that my dad was going to be doing it and not me. So I haven't really developed some of those skills because I haven't really had the time, because it wasn't safe for me. Another one of those things would be molding and casting, and again, that's a safety issue because there's chemicals, and my dad doesn't want anything happening to me, so he kind of does that part.
Would you say you have a fancy art studio that you use to make your costumes?
As you can see, we do not have a fancy art studio. We operate on our kitchen table, so don't feel like an art studio is something you need to do this yourself. As you can see, we have paints, some of our tools, work in progress figures right here. I have some some customizing materials packed up because I've been traveling with my work and I can get more done. Over here we have all of our fodder. So this is all the stuff that we chop up and Frankenstein and turn into the figures that you see on the blog and in other places as well, such as our YouTube page, etc. Right here we have painting tools. Right here we have soft goods. We have sculpting tools, molding and casting, and like power tools in this drawer. So this is where we get all of our tools and toys, and this is what we work with.
Do you take commissions?
Yes, I do take commissions. However, I don't really take them during the school year because I have to focus on my studies, get good grades. So I usually slow down during the school year, but I'm more active during the summer.
Star Wars Celebration Anaheim. How did it feel to have your work featured in Star Wars custom action figure panels?
Being featured in Star Wars Celebration Anaheim was really gratifying because, like, really only a few people make it there, and, like, to see my work up there, it really felt good, and, like, I'm proud of that.
Did you know how to create a blog when you first made one?
When we first started, I was way too young. I didn't know anything about making blogs or any websites or really how to write at all because I was so young. So Darth Daddy had to help. He had to jump in. He had to do the web design. He had to help me out. And customizing and web design, it's all a work in progress. We're all growing and developing, and hopefully we'll keep going as time goes forward.
How did you approach writing one with no experience?
I really took it one day at a time. I mean, as I went to school and I learned how to write long and complex sentences, I was able to write posts for my own figures. But when I first started, I hadn't the slightest idea of how to do anything.
Kyle Newman's Celebration radio dramas. How does it feel to have held Star Wars custom action figure contests with celebrity judges on your blog?
I think it's really been an honor to have these people kind of contribute and work with me on my journey. And I have a lot of gratitude for those people for wanting to work with me.
Why has the output of the blog slowed down?
This year at school, I got involved with some after-school programs, and they ate up a lot of time. And there were some changes going on in my dad's life, so we kind of had to slow down. But at the end of the day, we will always be very committed to the blog, and we will continue to put out content.
What makes you continue to put the blog out?
It's a love for the art form. It's a love for all the friends and artists that we support and work with. And it's really just a love for the Star Wars fandom and the people who always come here and continue to check out our stuff.
So we noticed that you have been doing more of the art in the blog within the last 2 years. Is this something fans should expect to see going forward?
Yes, I think that is something that fans should absolutely expect. I'm really picking up my sculpting skills, and I have a bunch of projects that I'm working on right now that I am planning on getting done very soon. So yes, you will continue to see me completing very advanced projects, and I hope you all enjoy my work.
What direction do you see the blog going in 2 years from now?
We're probably just going to be building our archive featuring more third-party products, and we're going to continue to put out great content, so stay tuned.
Blog aside, what art projects do you see yourself doing in the near future? How about the distant future?
In the near future, I see myself completing Stila Guerrera and Queen Mirage from the Zygerian arc, and maybe a little later I'm planning on getting an old DACA done, so expect to see those.
So not only are you a customizer, you are also a collector. I can see from your shelves that you collect Hasbro 3 3/4-inch action figures, as well as a large number of custom Star Wars toys created by artists from throughout the world. How did you go about amassing this collection?
When I was 4 years old, I got a bunch of Power of the Force action figures for Christmas, and over the past 11 years, I have been slowly, bit by bit, amassing this collection. It didn't all happen at once. Over 11 years, I would just get things for birthdays, Christmases, holidays, and sometimes just toy shopping. Then we built this.
What's going on with the hiatus and customizing the Clone Wars?
We did just announce last week that we would be returning in September, but we did have to stop for a little bit because Peak Obi-Wan Custom Creations, our host, had a work-related injury. So, yeah, we will be coming back, and we hope to see you again. Stay tuned. First, I'd like to say thank you for taking the time out of your day to interview me. And I'd also like to thank you, the fans, for watching. And if you want to keep up with my content, you can find me on www.customsforthekid.blogspot.com. You can also find me on Tumblr, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and Google+.
Is that everything?
I hope so.